up, honeys? It's KingBritneyChanel. You already know. So today's video is called Why Tekashi Will Have the Biggest Comeback. Despite him, being in the headlines for being in the headlines right now in his situation, I feel like still he gonna have the biggest comeback. And I'm getting ready to explain to y'all my thoughts on this. Before we get into it, definitely make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. And I hope y'all enjoy my commentary on this. Right, so before we get into today's honey for our tea, definitely make sure you click that notification bell so that you don't miss none of my premieres, live streams, or videos that I upload to this channel. Now, I want to talk about this whole Tekashi situation, y'all. Y'all know that I was very vested in this situation before. When I was going live and talking about Tekashi before, y'all probably have seen some Tekashi 6ix9ine videos on my channel from way back when, okay? But I decided that I wanted to talk about him because there was so many memes going around about him, being a snitch and all of that. And it just reminded me, like, people are acting like we are in the times of, our parents' times and things like that. Or they're acting like, hip-hop in the streets is still the same. And in case people haven't noticed, we are in 2019. And I don't know if y'all remember 21 Savage making, a parody or some jokes about, all it takes to be a rapper nowadays is, you could pay us for some clout. We could put you around some dudes. To get them they tatted up. We could get you tatted up. Okay, we could give you a street name, and we could say that you with us, and that can, help you to buy clout. I remember 21 Savage talking about that. If y'all remember that, put that in the comment section below, or tell me if you remember the same thing that I'm talking about. But despite Tekashi being in the headlines and a bunch of the OG rappers laughing at him and calling him a snitch, I feel like he's still gonna have the biggest comeback ever. And it just made me think about Soulja Boy saying that. But I feel like he's gonna have the biggest comeback of, whenever he gets to make a comeback, because we're in a time where people don't necessarily care whether or not you real or not. People are more influenced by the fake than they are the real, okay? In this situation, people, we're in an instant microwave generation, to where they want the right now. They really, a lot of people, they love to be up on Instagram or whatever social media they on, flexing with, faux cash, faux chains. Half of our family members or people that we look at on this internet, honey, they be capping so much. You be like, do you know I know you in real life when you be looking at some of these pictures? Honey, you'll have people that they have like 100 titles on their name, and you be like, that dude work at the car wash down the block. Is he serious right now on this internet with all this? So we're in a generation to where, everybody is into the artificial. You got, the IG models, with the artificial, looks to them, or, if y'all ever seen like the makeup gurus, how they be looking before and after, and you be like, oh, that's the same person. So, or the guys that that rent the cars. They rent, and it's a lot of rappers that do this. They rent the cars for the videos. They have people that ghostwrite their music. And we're just not in the days where, people used to, battle rap and it, they used to really put in work. Because honestly, I'm going to tell y'all, from a lot of the old heads I be talking to, or a lot of OGs of the community, they be saying if you was to be doing some of the stuff that them folks did, back in their time in the 80s, probably prior, you would be probably facing some serious, probably time doing crazy stuff like that in 2019. What a lot of these folks is doing. Now, that's not to say that it's a lot of people from this generation that, you know, be out here acting like they don't have no home training. They really be into some of this, I'll say, entity stuff, but y'all know what substitution word entity would be for. So Tekashi, his situation is no different. He used this rapper formula that so many people use, because it's a female rapper formula and it's a male rapper formula. You get around dudes that are really in the street. That was his number one. Because when I first was introduced to Tekashi, he was doing like, I don't know if it was like this hip hop rock type of music that he was doing, you know, just from listening to music. Because he was making music, but it kind of was different from the music that he was making now. And when I say introduced, I mean like hearing his music. You know what I mean? Just to clarify that. But when I first was, you know, somebody showed me his music was like rock type of music. Like it was kind of like this grungy type of music. To, you know, now, you know, this hip hop, I'm just using that because that's what they would classify it if it was on the billboards or whatever. But I would more so say rap that is influenced by the streets. Okay, y'all know what kind of G rap. I'm gonna just use G.rap music that we're talking about here. And he just used the instant rapper formula and it worked. He, you know, I feel like you gotta give credit to Soulja Boy. Soulja Boy, and that trolling stuff he was doing heavily influenced other people. Tekashi used that, so he ran around just, you know, antagonizing folks and, you know, getting attention. You know, a lot of people was just mad with him because the rainbow hair, the rainbow teeth, the tattoos and stuff like that. So he was getting a lot of attention for that. He got around these street dudes, and y'all know what, you know, organization or entity we talking about here, and they co-signed him because in return he was, according to what they saying, he was making money for them. So it allowed the entourage protected him. It allowed him to be moving in the streets and, you know, doing that, like that troll activity he was doing, that trolling activity he was doing, and he really wasn't getting, I would say, touched by other people in the street. But the problem with that is that, you know, the particular organization, you know, they knew that they felt like he was a goofy in the street. So he was running around talking about test my, you know, my G. But they actually did, like, I think I was reading an article today where he's giving his account of what happened when his jewelry was taken, and y'all know he was taken, and they say by his own crew at the time, really, which they really wasn't no crew. They just was allowing him to use their name and to have that to give him clout. And the reason why I'm saying that, despite him doing all this snitching and stuff, people making memes and stuff, it's not gonna matter. And the reason why it's not gonna matter is because, as I said, we live in an instant microwave generation where they do not care about the real versus the fake. People is still out here listening to Rick Ross. You know, I listen to Rick Ross, but knowing that he was a correctional officer, he's not doing what he say he was out here doing. You know, he took on a persona. A lot of rappers have a persona. 21 Savage, like I said, made that parody about that. A lot of rappers have a persona. They're not really doing what they're rapping about. So it's like nobody has stopped listening to any of these people, despite knowing that a lot of these people are not out here writing their own music. A lot of these people are not out here, you know, really doing what they're doing. And if you are in fact doing what you are out here doing, like Bobby, y'all know Bobby, Hot in Bobby. I'm gonna say Hot. Y'all remember that song? And he was in New York, and he was, you know, saying everything he was doing, and he ended up getting jammed up for that. So if you really out here doing what you say you doing in them songs, they will sit you down. And I feel like New York is really one of those places that's not really playing with rappers. I remember Lil Wayne, like, you know, a couple of years back having situations out in New York or whatever, or they was reporting about that, and it was serious then. New York has tightened up a lot of things, you know, over the years. They have gotten real strict, and you know, especially when it comes to rap, like I feel like they, you know, it's real, you know, kind of hard for rappers to be out there, because, you know, if you're around the wrong people, you definitely could get jammed up, especially in New York. New York is not one of them places where they playing with those people out there. And I think that's, speaking of that, I think when they was asking him about Cardi and people like Jim Jones, because I feel like they got, you know, like, okay, they like, okay, we got big fish like this from this 6ix9ine situation. Who else can we look at? So I don't know. I just feel like, you know, people gotta be careful about who they around and who they talking to, honey, because you don't know if them boys is listening. And with the Jim Jones situation, I kind of, you know, I like Jim Jones. I've always, you know, listened to Jim Jones music, Jim Jones, Cameron, and you know, the rest of them. I feel like, you know, I like Jim Jones music. And I used to like, you know, Jim Jones and Chrissy and their show and everything. But I just feel like at this point, and this is just me being me, this is just me being 100% honest here, I feel like at this point in Jim Jones' life, it should be transition. Because it's a lot of middle-aged men talking about 6ix9ine as a snitch and the rest of this stuff. And these men should be, at this point, transition over from the street life to, you know, a better life, if that makes any sense. Like, to me, it kind of, and I'm not, you know, just talking about him, but I noticed like a lot of these guys, it just is like, here we have nobody, and you know, 50 Cent, I gotta respect 50 Cent for what he said. 50 Cent was like, he could kind of, I guess, I don't know if the word is sympathize with Tekashi, because if you think about it, this young man, if you think about it, basically, if you really want to be real, they was finessing this young man out of money. They even took him and took his jewelry and had him in some serious predicaments. You know, then there's the situation with his baby mama, who could have been messing with one of the folks, you know. So they knew that he was not about that street life. And typically most of the older people that approach younger people in the streets, they be knowing some of the youth is not about the street life, and they get them to do things, and then when stuff go down, they want everything typically to fall all on the youth, because they know they can't do any more time, because that'll be the rest of their life. So when it comes to this Tekashi situation, I feel like it's no different. Like, there's nothing in the streets for the youth, and instead of these middle-aged men saying, you know, it wasn't right that these grown individuals, instead of them being role models and pillars in the community, they're using the youth to make money for their organization. Like, instead of just making a legitimate business, like, you know, everybody else in capitalist America, we decide that we're going to use, because he's young. If you look at him, he's young. We're going to use him to be, you know, to be working out here. Because if you put somebody to work, what's that called? Y'all can put it in the chat. If you putting somebody to work and they making all the money for you, what is that? Okay, so you putting this young man to work, and then we catch you on audio talking about harming the young man. It's just crazy. So when 50 Cent said he could kind of sympathize, you know, you got a person that, you know, they essentially, if you really want to be real, I can't even say what they was saying from that audio. If y'all heard the audio, they literally was really just, I mean, they was doing this man filthy, I'ma say. You know, he was running around, he was living out, you know, his rap dream. You know, I'm looking at some of these videos of him dancing around and saying that he was #4 on the Billboard and the rest of that, and all the while he's funding them. And, you know, they're saying, oh, we're protecting you and we're allowing you to use our name and giving you that cred. But really, all the while, what is that called, y'all? Let's start with an E. What is that called? And when you put somebody to work and you saying, get on that block, Julia Roberts Pretty Woman reference, honey. That's what it sounds like to me. They was really kind of taking advantage of a youth and, you know, mad at him for something that they already knew. They knew he wasn't about that street life. They knew this was a young man who had dreams of just being a rapper, and probably, you know, like a lot of youth that you see, a goofy little person in your neighborhood, and they around people that's really in the street, and this is always the end result. Okay, how are you mad? You should be mad at yourself for co-signing somebody that you knew was really not about that street life. If we really being honest here, like they knew that this dude was. I'm talking about rock music. Okay, he was rapping. He just, you know, he looked at this formula. He said it. If you listen to what he said from the audio from him being at a gathering, aka him sitting down giving that testimonial, okay, he said that this was the formula, and it just ended. If you think about it, he ended up in a bad situation, and so did everybody else that was involved, because you knew that he was gonna fold all the while. They knew he was gonna fold. It just was a matter of time when. And then two, it's like, how did they think, like, with, you know, the dude Jordan, the last name Jordan, I think Cafano Jordan or whatever. I'm not gonna say his name because I don't got time for YouTube and all of that. It sounds too much like a something that you shouldn't be saying on here. But the dude, Mr. Jordan, that was his former manager. How are you, like, I just don't understand how these people was mad with him when they just, if you listen to them audios, like, why have loyalty to people that was disloyal to you? I just don't understand that. And then people sitting up there acting like if they was in this, the thing about this generation, honey, people always talking about situations that they've never been in, but they know that if they was pressed, they would fold. They would fold like you was at that dry cleaner, press down, button up. They would fold every time. Honey, pressure burst pipes. So people know. Like, prime example, like, I don't, you know, him talking about all those other people, they asked him, but I honestly feel like that should be like a wake-up call to maybe other entertainers or rappers listening, that they're really paying attention to what you putting out on your social media. Because with the whole Cardi reference, that wasn't no secret that she has talked about her membership being in an entity and stuff like that. And at this day and time, I think that it's just completely crazy for people to announce that they are part of that type of stuff and be putting that stuff on social media, because how they're setting it up, all they're gonna do is say that you a part of a what? The first word starts with a Z-O-M, and the second word starts with a C-E-R. So if you ain't that type of person, and you know you really not about that life, I don't suggest you be out on social media identifying that you know people that's in those type of organizations and entities, because they're not playing with those people. If you've seen in the last couple of years, New York has not been playing with people with this sort of stuff. Like, look at that whole situation that happened with the Junior situation out in the Bronx. They NY ran down on them folks, and the community that Junior was from ran down on them folks in their community. They literally gave all of those people up, honey. They had their mothers, grandmothers telling on where those people lived at because they were so disgraced. So I think people gotta pick and choose really what they want to, you know, what they want to support. Okay, you can't on one hand be out here saying that, oh, why is all of these, terrible things happening in the world? Why are all these things happening? And then when situations that are similar to Junior's happen, or it was another young lady from the Bronx that happened that I did a story on, but she was from the Bronx. I forget her name. If y'all, but in any event, something happened to the young girl out in the Bronx, and a lot of people was in the community talking about, oh, well, why did Junior get justice and this girl didn't get justice? Because these same people up here making fun of 6ix9ine for talking and making, giving testimonials and statements, be these same people that be like, oh, why we never get justice, or why nothing never good happens to us or happens for us, because they have this code that they follow. So I just kind of feel like at the end of the day, when it comes to 6ix9ine, you got people that they live by this invisible code, but they gonna be complaining and hollering about why nothing good happens. And then you have people that just really don't care. It's like it's split down the middle. This is why I feel like he could have the biggest comeback ever, because people at the end of the day from this generation, a lot of these kids don't care. A lot of these people that's listening to 6ix9ine's music are people that want a persona. They want, the Futures of the world. They want, you to be talking that talk, but you're not really living that. But the kids, some of these kids don't know. Maybe the kids that, are in the streets, they looking up to these people in an idealistic way. And then you have these college kids that, are, from other classes of life, I'll say, like middle class on up. And they just want to live that hood experience to be cool like the rappers for a moment, even though they're not doing that. A lot of these people that be at these rap concerts, they're not melanated people for the most part. So they'll fully embrace, Tekashi if he chooses to make a music comeback after all of this is done. So he gonna in my opinion, he gonna make a comeback, because these people don't care. They don't care. If people cared, a lot of these rappers that's not writing their music, it's a lot of these rappers that got paperwork that's talking about 6ix9ine is out here snitching, and they be the main ones that have been informing folks of things. We just don't probably know about it, or people in their city know about it. Cause notice a lot of these rappers, there be people that be knowing them from their cities, but they be wanting to avoid those folks because those folks know about them already. But people, honestly, when they point it out about the rappers, people say, oh, they hating on the person, or whatever. So it's like we don't live in that time anymore where people just are loyal to the streets, and people in the streets ain't even loyal if you really want to be honest about it. So it's like, why expect this young man to be loyal to individuals who, his mom life was on the line, made a fool out of him via his baby mama, then made a fool out of him out of taking his jewelry, and just having him be the work mule, making money for this whole group. So, I mean, I don't know what people expect. I just kind of expected more from, the older generations of people. When do we sit down and be like, I mean, these main people from, the older generation, this is not everybody, but, a lot of these rappers, you'll see them sitting up there talking all of this, oh, this is why we need to vote this way, and, all of this injustice going on in the world, and all of this stuff, but they're the main supporters of the foolishness. They're the main ones, laughing at him for being a quote-unquote snitch. But when stuff happens to our youth in the community, people like, oh, well, why the La Policia ain't go out and get these people that's doing this in the community? Because these people that they looking up to is making fun of people for doing testimonials, at the same time supporting all of the things that contribute to all of the negative stuff in the world. So it's like, you want to, on one hand, when it look good for the voting, be like, oh yeah, we need to be unified, da 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 da. And you know, oh, this is not happening and we're not getting justice. And then on the other hand, it's like, oh, y'all snitching. So it's like other communities, I'm just being real with y'all. That's why I use Junior as an example, because his community was not about that stupid stuff. Everybody came together and they was like, nah, we gonna make sure that, you know, these people that did this are, you know, brought to the forefront. And it wasn't about, you know, no street, you know, looking cool or any of that. And it was older people from the community saying, nah, this is wrong. We need to be holding people accountable. Nah, you know, we're not gonna let a young man, you know, go on to the glory and be, and, you know, another lost one. We're not gonna allow that. So these same people that be out here, I think it was the girl Vlana from the Bronx. I think her name was Vlana. They was saying, why did Vlana not get the same, I guess, press that Junior did out in the Bronx? It's because this type of philosophy right here, y'all. The same individuals that you see, middle-aged rap men, making fun of 6ix9ine, all the while knowing that this was a youth who these other older individuals was taking advantage of, having him making money for their group. And then, you know, his mom life was on the line. You know, girlfriend or baby mama they was playing games with. His own life was on the line at a certain point. So it's like, to expect this man to be loyal to this dude, and some of these dudes at this point, middle age in their life, and I know that y'all get what I'm saying. I hope y'all get what I'm saying. They should be having a stock portfolio, thinking about their retirement, you know, sending their kids to college at this point. And we here being goofy about 6ix9ine and the rest of this mess. So honestly, I feel like this is all gonna blow over. Those people, they gonna retire them folks, and they gonna go, and New York is gonna go after another big fish. And you just they seeing who they like. Do we have any other rappers that want to bite the dust? So they perusing, and 6ix9ine is probably going to maybe change his look. Them college kids is still finna buy that music, still gonna support, because they like the idea and the persona. They like that vacation from their life for a little bit. Because at the end of the day, in this artificial microwave type of community that we living in, instant fame, instant success community that we living in, those folks do not care. This is not the 80s when your parents, or the 70s when people actually cared and had, you know, it was honor among thieves or code in the street. These people don't care about none of that. So that's why I feel like 6ix9ine is going to have a big comeback, because people just don't care. These memes though, y'all have me cracking up with these memes though. I have been getting the 6ix9ine memes. I've been seeing them going down the Instagram and Facebook timeline. Y'all are reckless, but you know, this is such a social media. What are y'all's thoughts on 6ix9ine? Do y'all think 6ix9ine is going to have a big comeback? Y'all let me know in the comment section below. It's KingBritneyChanel, and I will see y'all on the next video. Okay, team honey, so before I get out of here, I just wanted to let y'all know I did release episode 10, the season finale of my podcast. Y'all done caught Valencia, Miss Love, slipping, honey, regarding this case situation. And it appears that you asking for the 100K back, knowing that you've already been paid back, and y'all was on it. Y'all knew that that was a strategy, maybe by K and his team. So y'all let me know y'all thoughts. I will put the link under this video and in the comment section of this chat. It is also on my community tab to that episode 10. So if you missed it, definitely make sure you take a listen, and I will see y'all soon on the next video. Come shop with me now at my Teespring store, KingBritneyChanel Couture. I provide custom apparel and so much more for an affordable price. We have items like leggings, t-shirts, and hoodies. So thank you for shopping, and I hope that you enjoy. Hey honeys, thank you for watching my video, and if you haven't, definitely make sure you check out my Teespring, KingBritneyChanel Couture, where you can find my latest merch. I upload a lot of new designs frequently, so definitely make sure you check it out. We have mugs, we have wall tapestries, canvas art, pillows, fleece blankets, apparel, and so much more. Thank y'all for watching, and I'll see y'all on my next video.